Hey everyone, hola hola. Today is April the 8th and we are celebrating the return of the full moon. And a beautiful thing that happens 13 times a year, obviously. It's not something that's super new to us. But today is a little bit special compared to a lot of other days or a lot of other moons. Because today we're experiencing a supermoon. And it also was happening yesterday. It started on the 7th as well. It actually, here in Mexico, it hit us at its closest point to the Earth in its most fullness at 8:34 p.m. last night on April the 7th. So wherever you were watching the sun set, know that last night you were with the closest connection to the Divine Feminine and that she was closest to us. And it was a cool time to experience because we are just experiencing the lengthening of our days with the sun and the time change and all of those things. So also the time of the moon is a little bit different. Usually for me, I'm getting up at 3:30 in the morning when the moon is full. That's kind of like my witching hour for sure. This morning I woke up and it was 4:43. So what used to be earlier is now later. So it is definitely an illumination of what we have felt recently here with time change and other people who've been experiencing time change over the last month, to this isolation and quarantine and kind of inside this washing machine or dryer, if you will, that's slowly turning, but we don't really know when it's going to stop. So I wanted to share with everybody today, because the full moon is such a huge, important part of my life and the moon in general, but this is a time where we know that we are at our absolute peak. We are at our fullness. We are at that point of great power, great ability, great connection through manifestation. And the Divine Feminine, being the moon, our beautiful connection to softness. Oops, sorry, I dropped my apple knife. The Divine Feminine controls our emotions. And this moon is often referred to as the pink moon. And when you think about where we are right now and the emotions that we're all experiencing, and this is how the moon has the ability to amplify things. And so there's going to be some interesting things as well with vibrations and raising them. And if we can do that and we can control our emotions and raise our vibrations, what sort of transformation can come from that? So just as I was starting this kind of process of wanting to share audios and channeling and messages, I started to prepare yesterday because I was a little bit behind. I should have been on it a while ago, but whatever, it is what it is. This, I wanted to draw a card and then connect it through what I've learned and what I was feeling in the moment, and also with how things would flow through today, being in that second time of the second day of the moon being in fullness, and to also tie together an animal spirit today after I was putting this all together. So I knew that I would have the goddess that I drew yesterday, and then I would be manifesting and holding space for energy to bring through an animal spirit for me to use today. So I want to share with you a little bit how the moon is affecting us in the form of this card reading, and how the impact of the moon astrologically, what that means. I'm not an astrologer. However, I am extremely passionate about it. I love it. I see so much poetic, mathematical wisdom and genius, even creativity and humor that I love it, but I'm not an expert at it. And I would encourage you to take a look at two different astrologers to help you understand, and put this together. One being Pam Gregory. You can find her on YouTube. The second being the Leo King, David Palmer. They couldn't be more different from one another, but they bring insight and inspiration in their own beautiful ways. One's a little bit softer and one's a little bit harder. And so I will include their information in the video, and you can check it out because they have some really cool things to look at. And some of the things that they were talking about was some of the information I was praying with and that I was using to hold space to work with. And there's something that I want to share with everybody before I share what has come up in the cards. There's some interesting work and studies being done in astrology about a new planet that has not been included but has been energetically connected through mythology through the past, and also really is starting to make an emergence as there's new things that are happening in our world that have never happened before. And we know of the planet Chiron through astrology, and this is the planet Cheriklo. And Cheriklo is known to be the wife of Chiron in mythology or in lore and all of that sort of study. And so I encourage you to to Google Cheriklo, and I'll put some information on it in the audio caption as well. Please check it out, because that kind of also gives illumination to maybe some of the reasons and feelings that we are having what we're having right now, and how we can apply ourselves in a positive way to be able to come out of this in an opportunistic way for our health, for our happiness, for our materialistic need to survive in this world with money and currency, and to maybe reinvent ourselves in a way that we were weren't held back from being able to live in the past. So how can we adapt? How can we reemerge and come out a different way from all of what we're experiencing? If you understand the astrology of what's going on right now in the universe, there are so many critical, important things that are happening. We have some things that are happening with Saturn, Uranus, Aquarius, Sagittarius, some things with Jupiter. We're coming out of, it's really complex and multifaceted and layered, and I am not able to explain it in the best way. But if you check out these videos or check out some of the information, it will help you to really break down some really cool insight and hopefully give you some inspiration moving forward in your own life. Okay, so yesterday when I was praying on this, I got the goddess in my goddess deck that came out ready to play, was the Hindu goddess Kālī. So Kālī is kind of like a whoa, and holy crap, that just happened. Kālī is the goddess of death. She's the goddess of destruction. She's probably one of the most misunderstood, most multifaceted, oldest, inspired and reincarnated and formed and expressed in different forms than many other goddesses or gods. She's a very interesting energy. And the energy of Kālī, ultimately, fatally, is that the old must be released so that the new can enter. I want to read to you from the guidance book from the deck that I work with. The deck that I work with of Goddess has been with me for a long time. It was the first deck I ever had, and it talks to me. I don't need the guidebook. I know exactly, intuitively, every single message that is meant to come through me, and I'm gaining more and more all the time. But I want to share with you from the guidebook the message, because we don't have a lot of time, and I would love to expand on all of this into a deeper conversation at maybe to be continued, and we can just plant a seed right now. The deck I use is the Goddess Guidance Oracle cards. It's an oldie but a goodie. I don't know if you can even find it anywhere anymore. It was by Doreen Virtue through Hay House, but she has renounced her use of cards, and Doreen Virtue is no longer part of the openly spiritual world. She has chosen to go in a different direction. But regardless, this deck helped open my eyes to spirituality, not just to cards. And so that's why it will be always sacred to me, and I'm honored to share with you the message of Kālī. I sing the praises to those whose hearts accept the universal order. which appears only to be chaotic and ever-changing. In actuality, it's designed down to the smallest detail to be in perfect operation. The dance of the universe is a happy one, with energy swirling and twirling in an ever-ending celebration of life itself. Join this dance and enjoy the remarkable journeys of the weaving of the story of your life. Do not fear what happens to be a change or loss. It's the only transitioning orbit of energy interplaying with you and your loved ones. Embrace it as evidence that you are alive. Embrace your deepest emotions as a signal of your true human essence. So, what a beautiful word selection or joining or union. What a beautiful word union of words that are all true, that describe something that could be very ugly, that could be very hurtful, that could be very painful. However, we have to remember that Kālī is not just death, because death is a part of something greater. It's a part of, it's a piece of a cycle. And so, yes, it may be feared by those who are not aware or don't understand the cycles of nature and birth and death and rebirth and how we are never truly dead and we are never truly alive. We are, and it never changes, and we transition in different planes and fields and dimensions and abilities and energy vibrations and frequencies and on and on and on. But it's still love if you believe it's love. Kālī, when we think of death, we know that death is not permanent. Death is only temporary, and that it only is an illusion, or it's truly an illusion or kind of a stopping off place before we transition into the rebirth of something else. And Kālī is the embodiment of that, but she also is the embodiment of Mother Nature, because Mother Nature cleanses away with old natural storms, or she cleanses away the old with natural storms, and to get things done that we have to. In our family, we have a saying that's called "faster to the fun." You know, it might not be easy to just grab the bull by the horns. Ironically, as we're going to be coming into Taurus soon, and there's astrology relation there. But and the Taurus being the earth, and the bull and earth, and grabbing the bull by the horns and listening to that bull at the same time, and not trying to hurt it, but trying to help it. And she is that ultimate goddess who's a powerful ally, who will come to you, and she will support you, and she will blow stuff up in your life, and she'll push you out of your comfort zone to do the things that you need. And how ironic, how beautiful, how wonderful that this card came forward at this time, where we have so many interesting things that are coming forward. It's in the astrology, in the cycle of the moon, in the vibration of so many different things. A lot of the planets that are involved right now have connection to Kundalini energy, heart-centered energy. They have to do with amplification of growth and puffing things up and elaborating them. It also has information and messages of containment and constrainment. When you think of that related to death, what does death mean and how it can bring rebirth? The goddess Kālī, being a Hindu goddess, she's often seen or depicted with a lotus flower. And that is a whole symbolism that could go on for another conversation, and I want to keep this a little bit shorter. But also, I wanted to look at the animal that I drew the card for today. I just drew it right before I pressed play. So I'm a little bit lost for words because this is really, really, really profound. The animal that I've drawn today, after praying to bring me an animal to amplify the message of where we are now with this moon, what it means, and where the earth is in the universe, I received the frog spirit. And I know that many of you know I have a deep connection to frogs, and many of the most special, closest people in my life also do, and have been experiencing things with frogs lately. Frog spirit reminds us to clear out the clutter. Frog spirit knows that while other frogs are croaking away, this is a time for you to simplify and declutter your life so you can feel content on your own lily pad. Even when life isn't creating a total crazy opera, we can be drawn to the excitement of lots of noise. Then the next thing we know, our schedules and homes are cluttered with commitments and we regret making objects take up time and valuable space. Even relationships need decluttering, as they often become messy. Frog spirit appears to tell you to clean house, prioritize what you need, and get rid of or give way the rest so you can have some space in your day, in your head, in your heart. You don't need to hold the stuff and its stories shouting at you about the past. Along with physical clutter, friendships are sometimes kept long past their expiration date. They weigh you down and they bring unnecessary baggage. Now is the time to let go. Whatever you need will appear when you need it. So release your grip on all that clutter that is currently making you feel anxious and burdened. Frog spirit wants you to reclaim your space, unencumbered by shoulds, oughts, and would have beens. Let go and jump. You are free. The protection message from receiving this card is, what's weighing you down? Is it time for a spiritual and psychic cleansing? Are you overdue for letting go of the voices that surround you? They may have started to get in your head, these voices that bog you down and keep you from leaping forward into a better situation. Let others croak and create their dramas while you make space for yourself and hearing your own thoughts as they arise. Declutter your schedule and stop trying to do it all at the same time and then some. Let others manage their own baggage rather than allowing it to be dumped on you. For your lily pad needs to clear of others cluttered. Frog spirit may also come bearing a message about your physical space. Do you hold on to things because you're afraid of losing your energetic connection to the past? Are you afraid of losing people that are no longer in your life or to goals that you've never even pursued? Or could it be that these items around you would make you feel guilty if you got rid of them? Are your storage and living spaces stuffed with all these reminders of what you are not, when they should be only holding objects that reflect who you are and aspire to be? If something is no longer making you feel joyful, empowered, and exciting, it's time to let it go. It's time to start fresh, anew, to let yourself be free so you can leap forward into something trusting. And you will always know and be trusting that you will have what you need. That message is from Colette Baron-Reid from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. It's a beautiful deck that I use often. It allows me to connect when I'm working with new people because it has a lot of reading that I can share. And the reading often helps break the ice before we start channeling a little bit deeper. I love that it has soft and beautiful images. They are they speak to so many people and they're just so soft. And so I love her messages. I love that this deck, although it's an oracle deck, it still follows the traditional numbers in a tarot deck. So it allows you to identify more animal spirits or totem animals to tarot and to different archetype energies. So especially in the Grand Arcana, or the Major Arcana. So yeah, super cool. So all of a sudden we're seeing this frog spirit telling us to clean house, to blow things up, to clean it out, to get rid of what no longer serves us. And we have the goddess who's here to become the exterminator and vacuum cleaner to take everything away for us. She also has the ability to replant us in a new and beautiful space. And all of this is happening in a place in the world that many of us have never experienced something like this. The astrology points back to times where we are approaching where we were in the Great Depression, World War I, and even 9/11. And the planets were speaking to freedom, to liberation, to the ability to fly. And to me, flying is a new level. It's elevation. And flames get to go up in the fire, and water gets to go up in the air. And when we look at air as the element, and we look at the frog, we look at fire and frogs being on a lily pad where the lotus flowers grow, and they are the water. There's a beautiful symbolism of connection there. And to know that the faith of the frog doesn't burn from the fire because he knows that he emerged from the fire. And that, this is a time for us to choose to clean out what no longer serves us in our mind, in our spirit, in our body. And at the time where Mother Goddess is the closest to us, she is most able to help us. And all of the arrows are pointing in the direction of moving forward if we only open our heart and have faith, just like the frog does. So with that, thank you for listening. Also know that the frog is very beautiful and sacred in the beautiful message of Kambo. It is a life-saving, soul-saving, life-changing medicine that we have the opportunity to share. And it is medicine from a frog. And it is what we believe and know is probably our closest cure or immunization or treatment of immune support to combat what's going on in this world. And I would love to share more of that with you as well someday. Until then, lots of love. Thanks for listening. Aho, and see you soon.